Hello everybody, my name is Jacob Toronto of ChasingCinema.com. I thank you for tuning into this video where I'm going to be talking about a DVD release for this week. Each Tuesday I'm going to be talking about what is coming out on DVD and Blu-ray and reviewing one in particular, but also on this YouTube channel you can find daily updates as far as movie news, television show updates, casting details, anything really going on I find big enough or important enough to talk about. It will be uploaded daily here on the YouTube channel, so make sure to hit subscribe so each day you can be updated with information. If you are a newcomer, please make sure to visit ChasingCinema.com to find all of my actual written reviews and find some more information on what else we do. Today I'm going to be focusing on the DVD Blu-ray release of Big Eyes. Big Eyes was a movie that wasn't as popular as it should have been, unfortunately, though the film did have an audience, obviously because it came from director Tim Burton. I have not been a really big fan of Tim Burton after some time, just because I felt that he kind of became real repetitive. I felt that his movies that were once very original and very stylish kind of became unoriginal and just, again, repetitive. Something that I was so tired of seeing. You know, it's great that a director has a style, but sometimes that style can end up really biting them, and I think that's what happened as far as Tim Burton. You know, I mean, he was making movies that just kind of seemed really nowhere having the heart that his original films did. I mean, this is the man that brought you Ed Wood in the 90s, which was my favorite Tim Burton film, and my favorite film actually starring Johnny Depp. But he also did these other movies that had personality, had heart, had themes, but also told weird and different tales that just were kind of left off the map, and I think that's the biggest problem here. Like a few of his last movies that he did, we have Dark Shadows, which was a train wreck. I really hated that movie. I thought there was no point. Alice in Wonderland, though it did receive an Academy Award for, I believe 2 Academy Awards for its art direction, the movie wasn't very powerful, something that would stick with you. But I mean, also, if you go back in time, I mean, this man directed Beetlejuice, the original Batman, things that people actually love. But that kind of washed away with all this style. Sweeney Todd, it was just him and Johnny Depp doing these weird stories over and over again, and it just kind of felt really annoying. So when I heard about Big Eyes, which does not star Johnny Depp, but actually stars Amy Adams and Christoph Waltz, and actually talks about the Keane paintings in the 1950s and 60s, I was interested because Tim Burton once told the story of an artist before, and that was Ed Wood, the filmmaker that was known for making some of the worst films ever made. But those movies, Ed Wood in particular, had such a heart in storytelling, and I was so glad that maybe Tim Burton is going back to that. Now he also teamed up with the same writers that he teamed up with Ed Wood, and that is Scott Alexander and Larry Karaszewski, who I swear I've spoken to the gentleman Larry a few times. He is such a nice guy, very, very nice, a brilliant writer. The two of them have teamed up on many different projects, such as People vs. Larry Flint and some other works. But I mean, they are very, very good together. Their writing is spectacular. Their dialogue, the characters. They also worked on Man on the Moon. And of course, Ed Wood, which I think is probably their best project. They also did a movie that I really like called Screwed, but not many people enjoyed that. Which is a shame because that movie is great. Let's see. So Big Eyes, if you don't know about the Keane paintings, is basically in the 1950s, Walter Keane was coming up as this great artist, a great painter, which basically would paint these photos of young children with these really big eyes, and a lot of people were enticed by them. He became world popular. He started actually taking paintings. It was one of the first people to start printing them on posters so he could sell them so cheaply. Walter Keane is obviously played by Christoph Waltz in this movie. But then down the line, as his marriage begins to deteriorate with his wife Margaret, it comes out that Margaret Keane is actually the artist behind all of the Big Eye photos. And I'll kind of leave it there. This movie has incredibly revived my belief in Tim Burton, because this movie has heart. There's great elements of weirdness and oddness that Tim Burton's style calls for, but it's not overwhelming. It's not annoying. It is perfect. For instance, if you're a fan of Tim Burton, you've probably seen Edward Scissorhands. Edward Scissorhands says a lot. Themes are very similar in this movie than Edward Scissorhands. The themes, from Edward Scissorhands about being suburbia, being boring, about being this, everyone is peeking about everyone else's business, and this idea of suburbia. In the very beginning of the film, we kind of see Margaret in a situation with her daughter, and we see this idea of suburbia, that everything's the same, and it's reoccurring. Not a major theme, but just something that I noticed. However, a really large theme of this movie is the role of women and women finding a voice. And I think that's why this movie works so well. I was just talking about the director of Wonder Woman being a woman, and how I was really glad that a woman was getting a chance to direct that movie, because we need more women in film, especially behind the camera. Though she did exit the project. You could find that video on our YouTube page to go check that out. Anyway, so, Margaret is in this huge inner conflict about, does she tell everyone that it's her paintings, or does she just stay quiet? Because she stayed quiet for quite some period of time. Even at one point she goes to a church to confess, and the priest tells her, well, the man knows best. Your job as a woman is just to support your husband, and that just... that alone, that mentality, that mindset is seen throughout the movie a lot. And it's really great to see Amy Adams, who's an amazing actress, really take on a role that's about a woman finding her value and her voice. And I think that is why I enjoy this movie so much. And because it's delivered by a director who knows how to tell a story like that, who just doesn't do it often. So it even felt more relief. It was like visiting an old friend, if you will. And I just think that is why this movie works so well. It has hit shelves today on Blu-ray and DVD. I highly recommend this as a buy. I know a lot of people aren't like me who just am so quick to go out and buy movies and purchase DVDs. But if this is something that you've not seen, I recommend you watch it. I recommend you buy it. But most likely you're probably going to Redbox it or Netflix it, whatever you may do. At least give it a watch. If you have seen it and you're just debating on buying it, I'm telling you this is a great one to add to the collection. Or if you're just one of those people who are like me and says, oh, I'll just buy it just to buy it and I'll watch it later, this is definitely a buy. And, usually it's not that easy. Great movie, great style. I think that the direction of this movie, the art direction, how things looked, capturing what it was like in the 50s and 60s, I think was so beautifully captured here. Christoph Waltz does an amazing job, plays a very different kind of character. Christoph Waltz is always known as playing kind of the villain, but he is somewhat a villain in this movie, but the difference is here he's actually a coward. He is not the monstrous diabolical villain that we've seen as in Inglourious Bastards, but in this movie he plays this cowardly villain who's just so afraid to be looked at or looked down upon that he will do anything to avoid that. And I think that's what makes him a really interesting character. And like I said, Amy Adams does a great job in her role. This is definitely a buy. Go check it out. Big Eyes by Tim Burton. Ladies and gentlemen, if you've liked this video, please hit that like button and make sure to subscribe. Tell me what you thought about Big Eyes. Tell me if you went and bought this movie. Tell me what you thought about how you feel, and if you feel like you disagree with me, go ahead. I love a conversation. If you agree with me, awesome. Let me know. Each week we do a video review of a major motion picture and a podcast, but every day I'm updating our YouTube channel with movie news and DVD and Blu-ray updates and casting announcements, everything you probably think of, we do daily here at Chasing Cinema's YouTube page. So make sure to hit subscribe. Thank you for tuning in. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, where you can find more of my information at Jacob Tirano. That's JACOBTIRANNO. Again, that's TIRANNO. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter, and I tweet all this fun stuff out. And of course, please, ladies and gentlemen, continue chasing cinema.